Okay.
School District Board of Trustees meeting February 5th, 2018 is called to order. Mr. Woods, would you please have an invocation for us?
Shall we pray? Dear God, we thank you for this day that you allow us to see. And God, we ask you now to govern us as we go in to discuss Marlboro County School District business. We ask you to bless us and keep us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
And I inadvertently skipped. There's been notification of the news media and the Marlboro Herald Advocate. That's not their name anymore, but anyway, the Herald Advocate is present. And under approval of the agenda, we have two issues. Dr. Lane was sick and inadvertently didn't get Tammy Bird, who's a health promotional specialist, on the agenda. There's no action to be taken, but she's asked to make a presentation. And does anyone have any objection to that taking place? All right, so we'll have that on there. And we don't have the full board here tonight, so I think we need to defer the election of officers until next month when we'll have the full board. All right, so would someone please make a motion to approve the agenda?
Madam Chairman, I move to approve the agenda as amended to include the presentation and the forwarding of that issue.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please raise your right hand. And the motion is carried. And next we have approval of minutes for January 10th, 2018.
Madam Chairman, I move that we accept them. Madam Chairman, I move that we accept the minutes of January 10th, 2018.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
I do think it says, again, and I do apologize if I didn't make myself clear.
I understand what happened there.
I was more interested in what had not been done than what
Had been done.
Yes. And so
Context is everything, isn't
yeah.
it?
So I apologize if I didn't make it clear.
Okay.
So your request is items that have not been done?
Yeah, just the items that hadn't been done that are 3 months or older.
Okay.
Not. I understand you got to have a timeline and you got to have time to do things, but I'll be totally honest with you. There's some things out there that's been put off way too long.
Sorry for the extra work, Dr. McLeod.
We'll have it over later.
All right. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed? Well, raise your hands. You're kind of furtive. Let me give Megan a chance to approve the minutes.
They don't have the information on
If you have a problem with the minutes, just say what it is and we'll do it.
here last month.
All right. All right. All in favor, please raise your right hand. And all opposed?
I'm abstaining.
So the motion's carried. Everyone was in favor. Ms. Fleming is abstaining. Individuals or groups who wish to appear before the board. And look here. Mr. Charles Graham wished to speak about the, is that CADE?
That's the program that you're talking about.
Well, I know it looked like CADE program. I was having a hard time reading it. And you have 3 minutes.
Okay, good evening, board members, board chair. Last month when we talked about the CADE program, the CADE program for the high school, has many benefits. For one, it gives the high school federal funding. If we move it, that slash some of the federal funding that we receive. You know, it's a distinguished program that separates us from some high schools. And if we take that away and move it somewhere else, that takes away from some of what we have. But we take a program like that away from the high school, it's like, what do we have that's going to be more attractive if we have outside people that come to the program? You know, I just don't think, me personally, with it being rushed and talked about last meeting and me talking to other people, we didn't get input from teachers and administrators as far as like how this would affect us and how it would benefit us. We couldn't find funding for just the house, not to just get rid of BIS. We couldn't find funding to house them. And then all of a sudden, Mr. Parks said he can move money from this place, and this place to put into Northeastern Tech. And another thing, when Northeastern Tech came the first time, they didn't say anything about they were going to need this funding. Now they approached the board and to make a rush decision like this. He said he had a deadline last time. And then you asked him, say, how much money do you need? He said, I don't know. That's a big program. So how can you build a program of that magnitude and not know the finances of it? So that's us be with throwing our money away anyway. If he don't know how much it costs, but he just wants some large sum, we want that too for our other schools. We can't even get a new sign put up. Mr. Park said we didn't need one. He shook his head on many occasions. But now we're gonna find money to foot the bill for another program. And then I heard he said, Mr. Bunt say we had other places in other schools. You got Chesterfield, Cheraw over here. You got Dillon. You got all these other places. For a program like this, let them be the ones to start it off, because they're in pretty much the same financial situation as us as far as Dillon County and stuff like that. So let them be a program so we can piggyback off of what they're doing, because with our budget, like, that's really gonna put us not behind the 8 ball. We're not even gonna be able to see the 8 ball. You know, and you know they come to us because the school district has the largest budget in the county. So why not get them to foot the bill? We already in shambles, so if he just comes in and swoop in, it's perfect timing right now. So I asked the board, take care of the community, take care of the taxpayers, take care of our money, and don't rush into a decision like this. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, next, general maintenance and work order from the past 3 months. Mr. Norton.
Well, again, I didn't want those, and obviously.
You skipped individual board items for March board.
I sure did. I'm so sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Norton, and I'll go back to that in a minute.
I'd like to see the ones that are 3 months, or I'll even go back further, if it'll save a little bit, and say from 5 months prior to, that have not been completed for the next meeting.
All right? Okay. And we'll go back. Thank you for catching that, Mr. Woods. Ms. Owen Nation, what would you like on the next meeting agenda?
Funding for Bennettsville Intermediate School and our future plans for Bennettsville Intermediate School.
All right? Mr. Woods?
Yes, I would like for on next agenda for us to set a date for us to start listening to other legal counsel to come present to the board.
Mr. Norton?
Answered mine already.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't know. We have discussed several times a forensic audit. Perhaps we need to be making a decision on that.
Ms. Fleming?
I have nothing.
Mr. Driggers?
We're going to have an update tonight, I think, on the Blenheim Middle School and athletic fields. So on the agenda for next month, I would like to have on there maybe where we can discuss lighting of the fields, how we may propose putting those lights in place, and then what the usage will be for the fields. And I'm going to throw this out right now. One of the things that I wanted to see in Blenheim was to combine the football field with the high school soccer field. So I would like to see if that's a feasible idea, and I'd like to put that on the agenda so we can address that next month.
All right. Ms. Bright?
Well, for this meeting, we had asked that we requested information pertaining to the status of Bennettsville Intermediate School be brought back, and I don't see anything on here pertaining to that. So then again, we would like the information to come back.
All right. Mr. Coachman?
Yes, I'd like to update on the progress on extending the baseball field out at Wallace to accommodate the middle school baseball program, along with the combination of the turning over the field that we have that's too small to the recreation department. Coincide so that they can have the recreation, will be able to play in, and the middle school will be able to. I think there's some progress that have been made, but I'd like to see finalization on that.
All right.
I'm going to back up a minute. You could actually combine mine and Michael's if you'd like, and we'll both address it at the same time, because it sounds like we have pretty much the same concerns. So.
Madam Chairman, in our finance meeting, our finance director brought to our attention that there was some problem with finding teams in our middle schools.
Not true.
But I don't think, I mean, I hate to contradict our finance officer openly, but I don't see that as a problem, and we're building these fields. Surely they will come, or they're already there. Danny and Michael, I just want to be reassured on that, you know, that we've got, it seems to me, we have pretty full teams there. Do we not?
We do.
All right.
May I chime in on that too?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, and Michael knows what I'm talking about. Everybody else may do too. The fields are one component. We still have to put uniforms on those kids. We still have to put balls in their hands and all that. So there's a lot of things that we're not seeing. And I don't know if it's changed or not, but years ago, I think it was something like $2,000 was allocated to the middle schools for their programs. And you can't put uniform, helmet, shoulder pads, baseballs. So there's more than just the field that needs to be addressed for middle school athletics. And I just want to say that.
I don't think, Mr. Strickland, not to cut you off, but I don't think equipment is the problem.
It is at Blenheim. Part of the problem.
Well, with baseball equipment?
Well, but you're talking about baseball, but we're talking football, we're talking basketball, we're talking, softball, you're talking other things. All the middle school athletic program is what I'm speaking of.
Madam Chairman, you want to cut me off at the knees for bringing it up?
I'm going to recognize Ms. Bright now.
We also discussed starting a committee to discuss the issues with BIS. I haven't heard anything.
I'm going to appoint a committee.
Okay.
Yeah. So now, were you asking to be recognized, Ms. O'Nation?
I just, like Ms. Bright, I want us to get moving on BIS. However it's appropriate, we need to do it.
Yeah. All right. Now, Mr. Branch had asked for the issue of facility committee. I'd like to know who would like to be on a committee and who's able to serve with work commitments and those kinds of things.
Which facility? We're talking just all facility.
This is regarding a facility, repairs and maintenance and deciding what we need to put money into first, second, third, fourth, and so on.
I'd be glad to volunteer for that committee.
Okay?
I would be glad to.
Okay?
Well, I guess I need to be on it so we can talk about BIS.
Hang on a second, people talking
Sure.
twice.
Go ahead.
I said you could put me down as well.
Okay. Woods, Triggers.
That's probably, four of us.
4 of us would be good.
We have 4, 3 could probably get there most of the time, so that sounds good.
Okay, so, and Bright. All right. So, you all are it. Okay.
Okay, got it.
And Ms. O'Nation, would you please chair that committee?
That's all right with the other members of the committee?
Is it okay?
I would like to throw something out
I
there.
intend to call a committee meeting next week. Would everybody please look at their schedules?
I'd like to throw something out. I will withdraw mine if Mr. Branch wants to be on it since he was.
Yeah,
He is.
yeah,
But
okay.
the thing is, Mr. Branch may choose to want to be on this, so I'll be glad to step down and let him serve, so just whatever.
Okay. So, this is a committee with adjustments maybe to be made this week, right? But, okay. So, now, if you all will get in touch with Dr. Lane and y'all participate together, okay? All right. Next is the bereavement pay policy, Mr. Coachman.
Yes, I think Dr. Cobb might be able to answer, help me out with it.
Dr. Cobb?
Well, I'm not actually called. I think we had voted on a policy a month or so
When did
back.
we vote on a policy?
We didn't vote on it? Okay, then.
vote on a policy.
Okay, calm down. Well, if we didn't vote on it, we discussed the policy and possible change in that policy, and just wanted to know when we're going to come back to make a possible vote on that. I think we kind of all agreed that we should look at the bereavement policy for the district employees, and because there is no bereavement policy now, because the teachers and whoever have to use their vacation or sick time in order to get off from work. But I thought maybe he was going to bring something back, Dr. Cobb, but I guess I was mistaken.
What were you proposing, Mr. Coachman?
Well, same bereavement pay that basically people get on their jobs. What you get immediate family member for mother, father, sister, brother, father-in-law, mother-in-law, day before, the day of, and day after the funeral, without having to use your sick days or your vacation days during bereavement.
He brought us a sample bereavement policy, but we didn't move on it, Michael. You're
Exactly,
absolutely
that's
right
what I'm saying.
about
I thought maybe we didn't vote on it, but so it's our fault that we didn't vote on it.
Yes.
So I'd like to make a motion now that we bring that sample back to the doctor, and give us a chance to look over it so we can vote on it next board meeting.
Mr. Coachman, Dr. Lane is going to direct Dr. Cobb to come back at the next meeting with a proposal and a review of what other people do.
And like Mr. Coachman said, I'd like to have that before the meeting so that we can make an educated decision on it to vote on, if that's
Can you send that out to
possible.
us beforehand?
Can we have that for vote needed?
I've got it here.
Yeah.
That Mr. Cobb gave us.
I know.
I shared it 2 board meetings ago with what other districts are doing. The issue is, as in our policy, they can use part of their sick leave days as bereavement. The problem is the board would have to approve in addition to that. If they wanted to approve 3 days bereavement policy, in addition to their sick leave, that's the board's prerogative.
It looks like, based on this, there were 14 districts that actually used the term bereavement in their policies, the one given 5 days, 2 given 5 days, with bereavement specifically stated, and 12 given 3 days with bereavement specifically stated. The rest just, like you said, they just evidently use regular sick or annual or whatever leave.
So that means the vast majority of the districts allow basically sick leave for bereavement. Is that right, Dr. Cobb, from what I'm looking at here? That's what we have to look at, the cost.
I make a motion that we look at the day of the funeral, the day after. I think that's as particular bereavement days and not the part of the sick days. However, I do want, before it becomes an actual policy, if that's the right word, that we determine exactly who this bereavement encounters. I mean, it covers mother, father, as you say, immediate family, just what it is, so we can make sure we don't go overboard with it.
Well, and let me remind everybody,
It's not
for
on the
change
agenda.
of policy, you announce that you're going to do something 1 month ahead, and then you have 2 months that you have a reading, and so on. But this is not listed as a vote taken.
Right.
So what we'll have to do is next month we'll vote that we're going to look at this. That'll be the first step of change of policy. And then the next month we'll have a reading, and the next month a reading. Is that agreeable with everyone, since that's following our policy?
It's going to be after Dr. Lane sends us out the information.
That's right.
After we get
That's
some
right.
information, yeah.
But the process is,
Has to be that.
next month, we vote to announce this, and it can't be done in a special call meeting, it has to be done in a regular meeting. Okay? All right. So we've got that tended to. Next, Mr. Coachman, were you the one that wanted the TAP?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So the TAP program.
Well, there were some concerns of some of the people that employees that are in the TAP program about their TAP money hadn't received and supposed to be getting it since December. Is now February, and
Included in the packet the 2 emails from our state representative, and in the last email, I think dated January 26th, the state still has not received those files back for verification. And as soon as those files are received, they will come to the district for verification, so we can begin the process of then determining the amount.
so that's the hold up.
And I might explain further that in the past, the couple of kiosks that prepared those files that determine that value added and that information, prepared them for South Carolina South District teachers' data with the company. And I think based on what I've heard from the state, there was some corruption with those files that had to be fixed before they could run the metrics and all of those. And you mathematical people know all of those algorithms that they have to run on those files to determine that failure. So the last report I did receive, and I put that in the appendix, January 26th.
And they're indicating that they don't have the data, but once they do, within 48 hours, they will deliver the funds. So, okay.
Well, within 48 hours, they will get the files to us. It has to go through a three-step verification, as Norton will attest. It has to go through to make sure everyone is on the file, if there are mistakes, if they're back to the state, they're revising, they come back to us for one more time that says, yes, they will start using the receiver, and then we get a final file back with the amount, and finance can turn those around just as quickly as possible.
Good heavens.
Great. Please keep the teachers informed, so they don't need to call us. They call you.
I'm passing that information along to the principals to share with their staff as soon as I receive it.
I wonder how many man-hours that takes.
It works like the insurance companies. Find something wrong so we can send it back.
Delay and deny. All right, thank you, Ms. McCall. All right, next are action items, and Dr. Cobb, when you come up, after you get your thing done, we're going to vote on the calendar makeup days and the traditional calendar days so that we cut down on traffic time. All right, so next is resource officers at Bennettsville Elementary Middle School and Wallace Elementary Middle School. Dr. Cobb.
Dr. McLeod.
That's Blenheim Elementary.
Okay.
Information from
Thank you, sir.
Sheriff Lemon. And I don't know, I was not at the budget meeting workshop a few minutes ago. I don't know if Mr. Park addressed school resource officers as it relates to what the governor is proposing in his budget. So, and I don't know what else you might need concerning school resource officers. So that was the proposal from Sheriff Lemon.
After you look at this, if someone would like to make a motion, we will continue.
I think we need to wait until we look at this budget with this. Just one time.
All right? Mr. Parks?
Wait a minute.
We want it in the budget.
Include that one in the upcoming budget.
Well, absolutely.
Would be my recommendation. And that way, if we do qualify, then we're not going to lose that qualification. My concern is if you approve it in the current budget, then if the governor does provide that funding,
Gotcha.
this expenditure won't qualify.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, so this is postponed.
So what
But
we're
I
looking
appreciate
at
you
is
getting
the school year.
information and Sheriff Lemon's information too.
And then the traditional and extended year calendar makeup days, Dr.
You
Cobb.
have in your board packet a request, two requests, one from the traditional, as it relates to the traditional calendar, and one from the extended year, which is McCall. As you are aware, in the January board meeting, it was approved that Friday, February 23rd and March 16th would be makeup days for the traditional calendar. Let me address the traditional calendar's request at this moment, and then we'll do extended year in just a moment. After we've talked about it with principals and some members of the teacher cabinet, the request is being made in the original calendar that was approved last year. February the 23rd was originally approved as Parent-Teacher Conference Day. Half a day for Parent-Teacher Conference Day with no students. When we requested it be made a makeup day because of the recent snows, then it was approved that we use that day as a makeup day. But in our original calendar as well, Thursday evening, the 22nd, is Parent-Teacher Conference. And it usually follows that Friday morning would be parent-teacher conference for those parents who couldn't come during the evening the day before. But if we use all day Friday as a makeup day, then we end up doing away with parent-teacher conference for that Friday. So the request is that the district would allow us to exchange the early release Tuesday, which is the 27th, exchange that with that Friday, the 23rd, if that makes sense. So rather than have early release Tuesday on
The 27th.
Tuesday, the 27th, allow us to have early release on Friday, the 23rd, and use the afternoon of the 23rd as parent-teacher conference.
Would someone like to make a motion to that effect?
So moved, Madam Chairman.
Okay.
Okay, that's for the traditional calendar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Okay.
That's one time so moved, I think is appropriate. All in favor, please raise your right hand. And as long as they know what they're doing, whatever.
So basically, instead of Tuesday being an early release Tuesday, Tuesday would be an all day for staff and students.
Right.
And you'll get that word to everybody, so school will go on without chaos.
Absolutely.
Good deal.
And that Friday
Okay.
would be
Got it.
early release
Got
with parent-teacher conference. It
the
says in
extra.
your packet from 1 to 3, but parent-teacher conference will actually be from 1 to 4.
Okay.
All right?
All right, and next is the 2018-19
Okay,
traditional
I need-
and extended
No,
year calendars.
I need to address
Okay.
McCall's extended year request.
Extended calendar.
Okay,
All
gotcha.
right. And Dr. Phillips is going to have to help me with this one. McCall was approved to have February the 16th, March 16th, and April the 11th as makeup days. What they're requesting is that March the 16th remain as a teacher work day / parent conference instead of a makeup day. In addition, they're also requesting that they are allowed to do exactly what you just voted on for Friday the 27th and Tuesday the 20th. Tuesday the 27th and Friday the 23rd.
Is there a nation you want to so move again?
Yeah. Is that correct? We will make the March 16th, it will remain a teacher workday
Teacher work day /
and a parent conference.
Right.
And then I'm so moving on the 23rd and 27th, okay?
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please raise your right hand. All right, it's carried unanimously. Thank you, Dr. Cobb. That was a lot quicker than last time, wasn't it?
Well, this might not be the next item.
Okay, marquees for,
Well, the
what am I
calendar,
missing?
approval of next year's calendar.
Oh, sorry. I'd already put a check and moved right on. Okay.
I was not able to give the board members a copy of the requested calendar for next year, 2018-2019, because teachers got them, or staff got them last week,
Thank you.
and they voted on them at least by Friday of last week. So what I'm giving you would be a copy of the calendar. Staff had, the traditional calendar, they had 3 options. Option 1 is what I'm giving you, and that was the calendar that received the most votes from staff. And in option 1, the calendar consists of, real briefly, a fall and a midwinter break. With the fall break being October 5th, the 12th and the 15th, midwinter being the 15th and the 18th of February. It also consists of starting the Christmas break on the 21st being the last day before the Christmas break, returning on the 7th of January. And the end of last day for students will be June 7th, with June 10th being the last day for staff.
June 10th being what?
The last day for staff.
Okay.
And that was the calendar that received the most votes. That's option 1. So administration is asking for the board to approve the recommended option 1 calendar for traditional and the calendar that's in your possession for extended year calendar for 2018, 2019.
So we're actually starting school on August the 20th.
For August the 20th for students.
Students, yeah,
Right.
students.
Because the law is you cannot cannot bring students back before the third Monday in August.
Would someone like to make a motion, please?
Let me ask you, this,
Yes.
this is, it's, I read it, that says first reading, is that
First
correct?
reading, right. First
Yeah, so we will have a little bit of study time.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, that's what I was going to say. I'm a little concerned about the early start, but I'll make a motion to approve these at this time.
Is there a second?
A second.
For first reading, right.
For first reading.
Reading,
Yeah.
second.
Got a second? All in favor, please raise your right hand. And the motion's carried unanimously.
All right.
Thank you, Dr. Kopp. All right, back up to Marquise, Dr. McLeod. From Marlboro County High School.
Madam Chair, members of the board, if you look in your packet, you'll see 3 sheets. One looks like this, and then one is the other 2 are purchase orders. The one that has the marquee, the proposed marquee for the high school on the front, if you look on the back of it, you'll see that the price is $23,968.80, whereas you'll see that the previous 2 that were bought for Wallace and Clio were actually $25,500. So we will be able to get this one for the high school $1,500 less than what those other 2 were bought. But I think one was bought in 2010, and the other one, well, actually both of them were bought in 2010. So that's the price of it. And this marquee is, I think, a foot wider than those
Wow.
that Wallace and Clio, but it's from the same company.
Would someone like to make a motion?
And this is for the marquee at the high school. Now, my recommendation is that you go with the one at the high school, but wait for us to do more work at other schools. Because the other schools, in my opinion, is that, we need to get those cameras in there. And,
Other things more important.
and a lot of those repairs done. Because, marquee is just window dressing, basically. But, with the high school being our flagship school, then, I think that we need to take care of it first out there.
Someone want to make a motion? We can have debate after the motion.
I guess my concern is the money again, but, so we're talking 20, well, I wasn't supposed to start, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
That's okay.
Because we haven't made a motion.
And to be really correct, we should have a motion on the floor, and then we debate the motion that's on the floor. But if there's no motion,
We don't have to debate it.
we don't have any debate, we just move right on.
Okay.
Okay, have 5 trips on the agenda. The last one, where it says Marlboro County High School band trip to Gaffney, that trip was already taken last week, and in consultation with Mr. Driggers and Ms. Parsons, they said it was okay since we had never denied a trip for any of our students. And like I said, we didn't get it in time. That one has already been taken, so I was instructed to put it in there so that you could vote on it after the fact.
Let's vote on all of them at one time, if that's all right with everyone.
Madam Chairman, I move that we allow these trips and approve the previous trip that occurred prior to this meeting as listed in the agenda.
I second.
Good. Is there, well, all in favor, raise your right hand. We need to debate that. All opposed? Mr. Norton, where are you?
I'm back.
Raise your hands again. Let's get it all together. Okay. It's unanimously passed. Thank you. All right, Mr. Park. financial report as of January 29th, 2017. Oh, so sorry. So sorry. Ms. Tammy Bird is going to present to us information about the health program here. She's a health promotional specialist, and no action will be taken. And I'm so sorry I forgot you.
Okay.
You're right here. I've already written you down, and I forgot you.
I have a PowerPoint that's behind you if you want to turn to be able to watch it. So.
All right. Thank you.
And Chair Parsons and Dr. Lane and the rest of the board members, thank you for allowing me to do this. We wanted to update you on our program. We have been working in Marlboro County Schools since the first year we started, 2000-2001, and we are very excited to be able to serve the children here. And I just want to give you a little bit, there we go. The challenge, dental disease is in the United States. It's not diminishing, it's actually increasing for many populations, and we see it every single day. But the exciting news is since we've been in Marlboro County, when we started in Marlboro County, the number of children in 2002 that had obvious needs was 56.4%. This past year in 2017, the 2016-17 year, we had dropped that to 28.8, so we basically dropped it in half with just prevention, the number of children that had obvious cavities. Urgent care needs in 2002 were 23.2%, and the 2016-17 year we had 0 children that had urgent care needs, which means pain and or swelling. So with just prevention, we have been able to greatly improve the health of the students in this district. Now, as we're looking at this, our opportunity is that dental disease is 100% preventable. Increased access, on the other hand, when we started bringing this in, we are starting to see that the surgical model of care is driving over treatment, and we noticed this when we had our State Oral Health Coalition meeting a week or so ago, that we have children that are having too much work done. And so we look at that and say, well, how can this be? Well, if you look at the ADA's, the American Dental Association's Code of Ethics, according to the Public Health Dentist, or Pediatric Dentistry Journal, that it explicitly prescribes healthcare interventions motivated by personal profit alone. And we have a research article from 2011 that shows that 23% of dentists are choosing to fill teeth with no x-ray evidence of decay, and less than 36% of dentists deliver recommended preventive interventions. So with that said, in 2011, Journal of Public Health Dentistry said we should be alarmed that increasing access is actually increasing treatment that isn't necessarily necessary. And anytime you fill a tooth, it has to be refilled and refilled and refilled and refilled. But if we were to prevent the disease, then we stop that rapid succession and that awful circle that we keep going around in. And when we look at the overtreatment, January 11, 2017, Cool Smiles in South Carolina, they pled guilty to a $23.9 million voluntary settlement. Well, this was in several states, but South Carolina, all of the ones here were included in that, for providing unnecessary treatment on children. And last year, we had a case in Chesterfield, where a program treated a child that they didn't have a permission to see the child, and they actually filled teeth that the dentist had told them the day before didn't need to be filled. And this is a sad thing, because what happens is children are having unnecessary care, but yet parents and taxpayers are paying for it, and that money could be used to cover other services that are needed for other children. We can't afford to continue to pay for services that should have been prevented. The Journal of the American Dental Association came out this past year and said that dental sealants are more effective than any other treatment in reducing and preventing childhood cavities. As a matter of fact, there is no research that actually supports the traditional surgical model of providing regular fillings. There's nothing that shows that it stops the causative effect of infection, and we know that they have to be replaced over and over. But the good news is there's a different kind of sealant. It can also be called a therapeutic filling. And on January the 19th this year, just a few weeks ago, the South Carolina Dental Association approved that the dental hygienist in the school setting in our program can provide this kind of dental sealant, and also called temporary filling, in the school settings, and it's considered a reversible procedure. What is it? It's primary preventive care that's reversible. We're going to call it a therapeutic filling. It's also called caries control technique or cavity control technique for a layman's term. As stated before, there's no data to demonstrate that surgical fillings actually reduce the infection or they stop further tooth destruction. But yet research does demonstrate that dental sealants and atraumatic restorative technique are effective. And neither one of these require a child to be numbed or to have general anesthesia or the pills that a lot of the offices give the children to help make them sleepy now. The research shows that decay does not have to be removed prior to placing these, that if you do remove all of the decay, what happens is you stir the nerve up in the tooth and you end up having more abscessed teeth. It also shows that it is equal to or superior to the old silver amalgam fillings that we've had that lasted for years and years and years. So it's got over 40 years of research showing that it's safe, it's cost effective, and it causes less damage to the teeth. Populations that are going to benefit from this, well, obviously our children in the school programs that we're already serving. But this is also going to be able to reach out to the elderly. It's also going to be able to reach out to underserved adults, also cardiology patients and cancer patients. And I can tell you that I have a personal friend who at 42 was diagnosed with stage 4 throat cancer. He did not have any dental insurance and he had 5 cavities. He went to an office and it was going to cost about $1,600 to $1,800 to fill those 5 cavities. Because he didn't have dental insurance, he had medical insurance, and he had to go to an oral surgeon's, and he had to have all of the teeth pulled because his medical insurance would cover it. If we had been able to do this at that point in time for about $200 to $250, he could still have those teeth. Now he'll never be able to afford implants either, so he's just going to be missing those teeth the rest of his life. Lifestyle, when you look at what it costs to repair a tooth, it just keeps going up and up and up. The great thing with caries control technique is you could actually apply it on a tooth here, you could apply it here, you could apply it here, you could actually apply it here. So you can catch teeth with lots of decay in them. There's a certain criteria that you're trained in on whether the tooth can have it. And if you apply a stimulus and the tooth is not bothered, then you can apply the caries control technique. If you remove the stimulus, the tooth doesn't hurt anymore, you can apply the caries control technique. If the tooth still bothers them after you've applied the stimulus, no, you can't. That tooth will have to have a root canal or have to be extracted. So, those that have urgent care needs that need surgical care and need fillings, our program actually has a sister company called Smile Specialist. And what we do is we actually cover the cost of children to be able to go to a local dental office and have those teeth taken care of. So we cover children that don't have Medicaid and don't have insurance that fall between the cracks to make sure that they're taken care of and their urgent care needs are always addressed. And also, we have worked with the Children's Rehabilitative Services in this county, in this school district, and we have actually had 3 children that have received orthodontic help and had full braces at no cost to them through our program over these past few years. We are in numerous school districts around the state and have been since the 2000-2001 school year. And we are great with the local school districts. We're a special associate with the South Carolina School Boards Association. We work with the School Nurses Association. We're a member of the South Carolina School Dental Program Committee of the South Carolina Oral Health Coalition. And we also partner with Darkness to Light. So we make sure that we are looking out and helping to prevent sex abuse and child abuse also. All of our staff has also undergone background checks by the National Center for Safety Initiatives. And I hope to be able to see y'all at the School Board Association meeting next week, and hope you'll stop by and see us at our booth there. And it's a win-win-win situation. Having our program, children have less cavities, they have less pain. We improve their health, thereby keeping them in school longer. And you also don't increase the liability to the school district by providing irreversible procedures in the schools, such as extractions and surgical fillings, that if something were to go wrong, could end up being a liability for the school district. And the taxpayers win because disease prevention, less money spent on surgical care, and more children are able to have preventive services. We are improving lives one smile at a time, and I look forward hopefully to seeing y'all next week. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And I thank you for your time. This is my number and my contact information if you want to know any more information, and I'll take any questions that you might have.
That was very interesting. Thank you for coming. All right, Mr. Park.
Miss Tim.
We've got an update on,
Tim Brown.
It's not on mine.
Tim's not on yours.
we're supposed to have update on Blenheim Elementary
sorry.
School and Venusville Intermediate School.
I'm not on drugs. I'm off a Percocet. We'll go ahead with Mr. Parks, and then we'll scramble back to Tim.
Very good. You have the report for the period ending January 29th, 2017. I don't know if there's any questions. I'd be glad to answer those at this time.
Accepted as information, Madam Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Brown. Update on Blenheim Elementary Middle School athletic field.
Madam Chairman, Dr. Lane, board members, I would like to pass out something to each one of you. There's two parts to this. One is about Blenheim, and the other is about BIS. I'll get to them in time.
Thank you.
The update on the Blenheim ball field, work is continuing on the ball fields with 60% of the contract being completed. The rough grading is being completed, and they've gotten the topsoil spread and the sand clay on the ball fields. They have got majority of the football soccer field graded, but they still have to bring in some topsoil. We're a little short on that. The next phase will be the after that's done is grassing, fencing, and then what we wanted to bring up tonight was a cost. Mr. Driggers contacted me today about discussing this, bringing this, just for your information. The first staple piece of information that I gave you is from Torrance Sports Lighting Incorporated out of Charlotte. Excuse me. And their quotes at the rear. It's a lump sum pricing, and you have to have both that third page and the additional page on the back, and add the two of those together. It comes to $151,091. We also had a Musco manufacturing company, premier in lighting for sports complexes across the country, and their quote was $306,000, so it's an awful big spread. But anyway, that was, I think Mr. Driggers just wanted that for information. Is that correct? You just wanted that for information?
Yeah, I wanted that for information.
Yep.
And it's kind of, like Tim said, I've been working on this, but what I wanted for all my fellow board members to look at this, to view it. We've got some things that we need to discuss on it, but I mean, I wanted you to have this to look at first, then we'll go from there. But I will be discussing with you a little later on.
Okay, good. And update on Bennettsville Intermediate School.
On the Bennettsville Intermediate School, the status of the Abbeville grant. The architects and engineers are submitting the plans and specifications to the Office of School Facilities for review. On January 23rd, 2018, advertisement for bids for the roof was listed with Skibo, and a pre-qualification process with the architect will be held on February the 8th, 2018, which is this Thursday. pre-qualified bidders to make sure we have properly licensed and insurance certificates for whoever does the work.
What time is that?
I don't have a time, I'm sorry. I can get one and let you know. And the next sheet of paper that I had, the last piece of that handout is just a one piece, and I'm afraid this is awful fine print, but the estimate for the additions to Bennettsville Intermediate School, what was proposed was adding a 5th grade wing, and that's to the right of the existing building. And Ms. Bright, I think the last time we talked about this, you had a question about the bus loop, but they've gotten that drawn in to show you how that would work. Basically, you'd be adding a kitchen, a cafeteria, classrooms, self-contained computer room, reading room, art room, etc., bathrooms, and some resource rooms. And the architectural firm of FW Architects in Florence, South Carolina, has prepared the cost estimate to construct the new kitchen, cafeteria, and 5th grade wing. Bennettsville Intermediate School, a cost estimate of $6,989. And this, of course, this is
$6,989 or $6,989,000?
$6,989,588.
Okay.
Mr. Brown, what's this grade area here?
That's the existing school.
Okay.
That's that's the existing school being the 1982 model, the front section, and then the next little area behind there is the existing auditorium and gymnasium.
I like this.
Now, the cafeteria that you have here, is that just a cafeteria or a cafeteria where we can,
well,
do you have any idea?
All of this is still up for, discussion. This was just something to give you an idea of what we're looking at. What the thought was that if we added the kitchen and cafeteria and renovated the auditorium, then you wouldn't need a cafeteria because you'd have the 500-seat auditorium that's there now.
Is the renovation for the auditorium in that $6 million price?
No, ma'am, we don't have a price on that yet. But that, I talked to the stage needs to be replaced. I mean, it's dangerous, really. It needs to be replaced. But the rest of it is just brick and seats, concrete floor and walls.
If I could get you to, I'd like to have a comparison. I mean, the cafetorium like Wallace has there, where they got their stage that we built there and using that, versus the renovation of that auditorium that's sitting there, just to kind of compare and see which one would be a better suited for more bang for our buck, I guess, money-wise, as far as what we're doing.
That's why he's saying this.
The one reason we are talking about that, let me just say, or proposing maybe doing that, is that there's a common wall between the auditorium and the gymnasium. And talking, not just me, but people at the district, or at the school itself, is that we can't just tear the auditorium down.
Okay.
So we've got to do something. But we don't want to lose the auditorium. I mean, that's
great auditorium.
I mean, great for the children, especially on rainy days. They use it a lot, for their athletics that they do there. And then we're also keeping on that as you go down from the existing school or the front portion down to the auditorium on the left. There's a little jet out right there. That is 3 offices there. We have the book rooms, and I think ISS was in there, and the nursing station. And so we're going to keep that section intact, so we can get you a comparison, but
I would still like to have a comparison, if you don't mind. It's just somebody putting some numbers together for me. And my understanding from this is what you're saying now, if we do what this diagram says, it will handle the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade like the BIS was originally handling, correct?
Oh, it'll add some to it. I met with the architect and Mr. Singletary, and we looked at what the needs would be to accommodate your third, fourth, and fifth.
Okay.
And we believe this would do quite nicely.
And right now, we're talking roughly around $7 million to accomplish that. I know that can fluctuate, but just somewhere in that neighborhood is what we're talking. Okay.
Is F&W the only architect we had to look at it? Would they give us the price on that?
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, they just called, what, a week, 2 weeks ago and asked me to get a price, and I got them to get us a price.
I just wanted some idea, so we know what we're shooting at. We can put it out for bids and all that.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
And I believe, because I've been so interested in BIS, I've tried to go out there a lot and see what could happen in terms of the auditorium. Danny, it looks like the old auditorium can be repaired for substantially less than the cafeteria, but we'll see that. And I did not know that. We've been getting all these huge figures over the years, but apparently we can do better. So it might be, and the community really has loved that auditorium over the years, but at any rate, this is great information. I appreciate you doing it on short notice just to give us an idea, because we need to be thinking how much money do we have and what kind of bond referendum we might need to do. I don't mean to preach the choir, but we need to move on it. Good.
All right, so, Mr. Town.
Yes, ma'am.
So what is the cost of repairing that auditorium?
I didn't get a cost on that. What I tried to do was get you...
The last time I heard, I was told
$3 million
it's going to
or
cost over $1 million to fix the auditorium. So are you...
I don't believe it would be that
Well, they've
much.
been telling me that since I've been on the board.
Well,
it would
we'll get
take
you a
less
number.
than $1 million.
We'll get you a
Okay.
number. I was more concerned in trying to get the layout from an architect's perspective, and he's built a lot of schools in Florence, or F&W has, and they're using their current numbers, and that gave us more of a regional area of what.
Yeah, we needed a start point.
This is the bus link, the bus slope. So where is the 5th grade?
Right
The
where
other
your
hall?
pencils, where right in there, right that at
Cafeteria.
to the right of it. Move to the right. There's like a bunch of little boxes. Those are the classrooms.
Ms. Bryant, I'm going to invite Mr. Brown to come to our first meeting and help us with this, okay?
Yeah, because I'm at 60.
And I know I'm not on the agenda for this, but if I could just share with Mr. Coachman, I've talked with the administrator of County Council, Mr. Ron Mullin, about extending the Wallace ball field, and the county has agreed to take the existing fence, the outfield fence, down for us. And unfortunately, the rain and snow and everything else, hauling dirt, it's just not been conducive. So as soon as it can, they're prepared. The county's going to spread it. We're going to haul it.
Okay.
And I've got a contractor that will do that for us. So we're in the works. Yes, sir. Any other questions?
Yes. Ms. Fleming?
With this renovation, we plan, if this goes through, school facilities, when they come in to look at what we're doing, are we planning to do, and they will see an auditorium, I'm wondering, will we get the approval, will we get the licenses, the things we need? Because you're saying put a lot of new products in and leave the auditorium as is.
Well, no, we'd renovate the auditorium.
But we don't know what, so really that does not include the $6 million?
It does not, no ma'am. We didn't have the time.
Okay, so before we, I think we want to make sure whatever is done, we will not run into problems like we did in Blenheim with all of these things that school facilities are not going to approve. So that's what I just want to throw that out.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yeah, everything goes through office school facility.
I know it does, but if we've done something, if we plan to do something, we need approval first. Is that correct? Or do we go ahead and do it and they come in and approve it?
No, ma'am. All the plans and specifications have got to go to OSF before you can even, you have to have their approval before you go forward, before you bid it, put out for bids. But this is just to give you an idea of what $7 million would buy you versus building a whole new school for $25 million. I think That was my understanding.
I got one more quick question.
Mr. Triggers.
My eyes are terrible, so
I know.
this new addition building, what is that square footage down there? Is that 29,000 additional square
It
footage?
is 29,000, yes, sir.
So that's about 29, we would be actually constructed right at 30,000 square feet of new building is what we're saying there, correct?
That's correct.
And what is the existing building? Do you know what that would be?
Without the auditorium, just the third, fourth grade and the administration, it's about 47,000.
About 47,000?
I think I'm close on that.
I understand. Thank you very much.
All right. Next is under curriculum instruction and assessment. Ms. Davida McCall is going to give an update of test results for 3rd through 8th grade.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Lane, good evenings. I am going to, more than give an update, I'm going to provide you with some information from Dr. Harris. He wasn't able to be here tonight, and he asked me to provide you with information he presented in October at the October board meeting, test items, and the slides were skewed, and he has corrected that, and he wants to give you all that information. And if you have any questions, he will be at the March board meeting to take any of your questions.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Darla.
Thank you. So we study this, and then he's going to come back next meeting. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. McCall.
Ms. McCall, you might have been who I asked the other day, but I was just noticing these figures. How many students did we have that requested to move to Clive from the 3rd and 4th grade?
We had 3.
3 total
Yes.
at this point. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. And now we have Dr. Lane's superintendent report.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson, members of the board. Briefly, I just wish to indicate that Mr. Jorgensen has reported that our adult education program has met all compliance standards. We're very proud of that. Ms. Barbara McCall has provided information. We received a letter from the State Department. Our Title II order is all clear. Yes, we're very pleased. And while we're here conducting this meeting, I'm very pleased to share with you that we have students who are competing at this moment at Francis Marion University in the regional spelling bee. They are our district winners, and we're hoping we get back some trophies. We'll pass the word on as soon as we get it, but they're currently competing. And last but not least, yes, I'm Dr. Phillips. He finished it. Oh,
great.
Thank you, Dr. Phillips. That is terrific news. And keep in mind, they're competing with other students, their contemporaries across the entire region. And for him to finish in the top 10, excellent.
Good job.
Right.
Yes, thank you. And last but not least, Mr. Jorgensen and his adult team are currently completing 3 proposals. Is it 3 proposals? And then we'll give you more information later. Thank you.
All right.
Go get him, Jorgensen.
We need to go into executive session for Dr. Angela Bain's report, personnel matters, contractual matters, new hires, resignations. Do we have any high school petitions? 1. High school petitions, receipt of legal advice, acting superintendent issues, and property acquisition. Would someone please make a so move, Ms. Owen?
You want to do a so move? So move, Madam Chairman.
All right. Is there a second? All in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed? Are you opposed, Mr. Coachman?
No, I'm not.
Okay, well, everybody raise your right hand so we can get a proper vote.
He's just putting his stuff.
Are you voting with us? Good deal. All right. So it's unanimous, and we're in executive session. Thank you.
take this into executive session, will you? This lighting
Oh,
thing.
now this is going to be the...
Executive session.
Is there a second? All in favor, raise your right hand. No action was taken, the motion was carried, no action was taken, no decision was made. And Ms. Kristen Miller has a gift for us. She didn't know she needed to sign up. Ms. Miller.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Superintendent, and members of the board. My name is Kristen Miller, and I'm a member of Marlboro County Media Literacy Internship Program, as well as the president of the Art Club. I am here to stand in for Ms. Robine and the Art Club. We are giving you a gift to show that we appreciate everything you do for our schools. This is a Valentine bookmark made of paint swatches, Sharpies, and bows. A big thank you from the Art Club and its members: Paula Robine, Patrick Rogers, Caitlin Wallace, Cheyenne Clark, Justin Locklear, Nicole McDowell, Joel Carter, Cherry Short, Keasia Brown, Stephen Bruce, Dylan Callender, and me, Kristen Miller.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you very much.
What a cool idea.
All right.
Thank you. Isn't that neat?
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Keep my place on the agenda.
Well, I needed help tonight, gosh. Give them to Dr. Lane and he'll get them to the board members.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you visit our school anytime in February, you will notice that there are decorations up for Valentine's. I also would like to say there's going to be some changes in the school, as well as this year and next year the Art Club is going to start doing more for the school, and I'm working to help make a change in the school.
How nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The arts bring out the best in all of us, whatever kind of art it is. Time art, spatial art, it gets to the best inside of all of us. All right, Dr. Cobb.
Madam Chair, school board members, the administration recommends approval of one election.
Mr. Childs, can we vote for this? Can we approve this?
We don't have a
just-
quorum. How are we going to do that?
do is just receive it as information and approve it at the next meeting.
Sounds great.
Okay.
We don't have a quorum, just receive it as
That's what we're going to do
I
then.
can't believe so many people abandoned
That's
the
what we're
meeting.
going to do then. You want to bring it back.
All
to us,
right.
but that's okay.
Okay. Well, we can't adjourn. Do we just go home?
No, you can adjourn.
Okay. All right. Mr. Norton, would you please adjourn us?
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Somebody else did it.
Somebody second.
She seconded already.
She seconded. Okay.
Janice
All in
seconded.
favor, raise
I'm
your
raising
right
my
hand.
hand.